Good Friday evening to all of you, Combermereans, friends of Combermere, those who want to be Combermereans, those who wish they were Combermereans, those who are Combermereans by association, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for yet another in the series of the Combermere live stream interviews. In studio, hello, my co-host, Hess
How you doing,
Nature.
buddy?
How are you doing?
Up
And
and
in
on.
studio, up and on, Hess. And in studio tonight, we have two esteemed Combermerians. One, head of department, my friend Michael Small, who is on the cusp of legendary status. And then another young man who is on track, pun intended, on track to be a legend at Combermere and Island Wide. I want to welcome Michael Small and Jarad Murray to the studio. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. And you can tell by my reaction, my voice, and by the smiles on Hess's face that we are still on a high. I have two quick questions, which I would like to open up the interview tonight. And the questions are from each of you. I can start with you, Michael. Are you feeling as good now as you felt on Friday? Are you feeling as good as we are feeling? Just answer the question, Sydney.
That's a rhetorical question. Of course, of course, of course, I feel good. I mean, I thought that I would have had to retire to come to the stadium or Usain Bolt as a spectator to see this and to see this unfold live last Friday night, Friday evening. Sorry, it is a good feeling. So yes, I'm still on cloud nine.
Gerard, how are you?
I'm good, man. I just want to say good night to everybody. All the Comerians watching. It feels good, man. It's something that you dream about as a Comerian to see the school do the double and to be
Yeah.
a part of it. It's a really good feeling, to be quite honest. And I'm still trying to put the pieces together in terms
Well,
of.
let me tell you, Gerard and you, Michael, both you have coach face. Because let me tell you, you fellas know how to actually mask and to tamper down your own euphoria.
Enthusiasm,
But
yeah.
this is good. This is good because you can't let people feel that they don't have any more work to do. So I guess that this is something cultivated over the years, I would imagine. But let me go on to my second question, and it starts with a comment. Several years ago, could be about 8 years ago, one of your support staff and a guy we all have a lot of time for short mirrors came to me and he posed a rhetorical question to me because he knew my answer. And he says, do you see the link between sports and academia? What do you think pushes a school to the point where people want to come to it? Where children are begging their parents, I'm going to study hard to get to the school because. And I said, sure, I know where you're going, but tell me what you think. He said, it's sports, David. It is sports. It's all about sports. Michael and Gerard, if you had to sell the link between sports and academia, how would you go about telling people how important it is to do well physically? How would you go about selling that to people that let them understand that sports and academics go hand in hand? Michael, what do you think?
Well, I haven't been involved in sports for most of my life. I can see the link. I mean, like I think earlier while we were off camera, somebody asked about scholarships. I've seen quite a few people gain athletic scholarships from Combermere. Some of them have gone on to do very well, and there is a link. There's is a proven fact that when you are fit, you are mentally alert. And I think that having Gerard here as the coach, he would have been at school certainly in my time. I think Gerard could speak to that with even more clarity than I can. But there is definitely a link, and if people don't understand it, well, I don't know what else I can say to make people understand it. But there's different correlation between two.
Yeah, yeah. But Michael, you remember the days when the Harrison colleges that got the academic scholarships used to win the sports? You could people
Well,
see
well,
that link
well,
even directly then?
well. If you want to even drive home that point even more, we must remember that Harrison College did the double 3 times: 1990, 1991, and 1992, and they were getting academic scholarships. So if people can't see that as an example, well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Combermere, led by Harcourt, would have been. Combermere won the first girls title in '87. Harcourt could correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first girls title was '93, and you know, college, as I said, college set a benchmark, and as I said, to do, you see what people don't understand, to do the double at BSAC is a tremendous achievement. Only 3 schools have done it. So I am very proud to be a Combermerean. I often describe myself as an unapologetic Combermerean. And on last Friday, I was on cloud nine, and I'm still there. I think I should let Jarad jump in here, though.
Yeah, Gerard, your take on on that real link between academics and sports, and how would you sell that to people?
Yeah, yeah. There's a strong link, as Mr. Small would have said. There's something about sport, that some untaught skills that actually do help with the classroom as it pertains to alertness. There's some other things that it would have taught me as an athlete about commitment, hard work, dedication. Going after the things that you want. Nobody's gonna give it to you. You have to work hard for it. And those are things that you can translate into the classroom, put into your real time where you're studying and stuff. Even when it comes to not even only just those things, when it comes to like physical preparation, a body that's stronger physically, has a mental dominance about it too, that allows students to have a greater mental fortitude as it pertains to classroom, not giving up, taking on tasks that may seem insurmountable at the time. They understand the difference between, um, pursuing the things that they want going forward, right? So there's a strong link, and I believe, and if you look at it now, um, it shows in the examples of some of our students here that are very good athletes as well. Don't miss practice, do tremendously well in the classroom. We have a good few students who are on the honor roll as well every term. So there has to be some link, this doesn't just happen by chance. There has to be some link that most people will overlook because they just say, it's just sports, so it's just running around. But there are some elements that, especially something like BSAT teaches you, and I think a lot of the athletes have gotten hold on that, especially after this big victory.
There is something that I have recognized over the last several years, and that is that the positions that you guys hold brings you in contact with nearly every single student. And there is something that you exude to students that they feel comfortable with you, even though you drive them hard. Michael, in your years at Combermere, how many students would you have just put your arm around and mentored through? I don't think you can count them and mentor through a little difficulty. They can come to you. They come to you
Uh,
before anybody else.
Countless, and I think that's one thing about the job that I really like, that I can
Yeah.
get a chance to interact with the students on a different level. And because we now teach CSEC PE and KPE, where we have students who are dedicated to furthering the studies in physical education, I remember we had a guy kind of struggling in the classroom at first. He could have played football very well. So I told him, listen, imagine that you're on the football field when you have a test to do. When you go on the football field, you dominate the field, you dominate your opponents. The test is an opponent, dominate the test. Now, he didn't go straight to is, but he understood the analogy and he used that to make himself better prepared for his academic work. So, yes, I've had countless students. I mean, I've been there for a while, and I wouldn't even dare to try to count numbers. I mean, like right here in studio, Jarad would have been one of my students a few years ago. So it's really a good feeling to be able to connect with students through sports, make them understand that there is this correlation between sports and academia, and then you see these students on the honor roll getting athletic scholarships. Combermere has produced quite a number of athletic scholarships over the years, too numerous to mention.
Yeah. Well, I am going to actually blow a hole in the theory about Jarad's theory about a strong mind and a strong body. Because I'm going to toss it over to my co-host Hess, who has a strong body, but I'm not sure about the strong mind. Hess, I know I like to take a job at you, but go ahead, Hess, jump in
It's no
right here, man.
problem.
I know you're full of questions to ask these guys.
Well, first of all, as a Combermerian, we're very proud that to have this double, historic double for us, and we're very proud. But now that we've done this, there's a huge target on our backs, and we have to reload, right, and refocus. And people see the end result, and they all the cheering and stuff, but there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes to make that engine work. So, Jarad, for example, tell us all the nitty gritty that goes on behind the scenes to make this engine roll so smoothly.
As I always say, it's not about that this one year that you're seeing that we've gotten victorious. It has been work for numerous of years. Since 6 years ago where it started. So there are athletes now that in sixth form, that would have started coaching in first form, and they're seeing the reaps of the hard work, and what you're seeing is a display of what they were doing over the number of years. Even through the COVID times, we recognized that there was a difficulty in training. We found a way. We found a way to get in some practice, and those few that were dedicated are the ones that take the brunt of the victory that you see. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's got to be difficult as an individual person. I know, just doing working out for myself, how important nutrition and meditation and stuff like that is. So how do you get a group of students, that are so diverse in mindset to be laser focused? Tell me some of the nuances that goes into that to deal with
Yeah.
such a huge group.
Yeah, once you have an understanding that sport is not only about physical preparation, it's also mental preparation as well. So we take that very heavily in our training. So we have a lot of talks with the athletes about time management, about being committed, dedicated, and over time they start to understand that once you put in the work and you do what you're supposed to do, and you schedule time well, and you stick and stay disciplined to the task, those things start to fall in place. They start to, for instance, they may like a particular meal and recognize it's not good for them and it affects their performance. So
Yeah.
they understand that they have to make the sacrifice to get rid of it, right? And there's something that goes on set. They don't even have to, in most cases, get behind them to do that. They understand that, sir, this particular thing ain't working for me, and I think I need to make a change. And it just shows the level of maturity in some of the athletes too, that have been doing it for a numerous amount of years. So once the teaching is there and they can see the results for themselves, it makes a big difference. That's the truth.
Michael, I want to ask you another question because these things go through my mind a lot. How you go about? First of all, you have a keen eye on every single student in your charge, but every single student in the school, and then these talented people emerge. How you go about separating the real raw talent, honing it without making the others feel too inadequate? I know that there will be there may be some tears here and there, but how you go about it and still maintain that level of camaraderie amongst the team? Because some people will emerge as better, and they will probably get a little more attention. How you deal with that challenge?
Well, I think one of the things that we do, and when I joined the staff, I had seen how cooperated with meetings and stuff like that, and I am very big on mental preparation. And when you see when the track season comes around, we go into a different mode altogether. We have meetings. We place a lot of emphasis on the mental part of the game. Mr. Murray is very good. I think that Mr. Murray has been able to reach a lot of the athletes because he's a very personable person, and we stress mental preparation. Now, when I started this mental preparation, my football teams years ago, people scoffed at it, but I stuck to my guns. We transferred it to the athletic team, and I will say this, that when we won the Rivaldo Leacock Classic in the end of the first term, I saw parallels between this team and the 97 team. And Mr. Murray always said that we are going to do the double. Now, when the coach says something like that from early, because a coach knows when he has a winning team. Don't let anybody fool you. Some people might play it down. I might play it down my chances, but it was there for everybody to see. So what happens now? There may be a student or two who might not feel that they are as good as the rest, but once they get caught up in the whole ethos of the school and understanding that people care about them, they want to do well. And I think that when I look at the Friday, we went into the sports the Friday leading in the girls by 13 and a half points. And everybody thought was around that. St. Michael's are going to be on our tails.
Look at my fingernails. I eat down my fingernails the whole of Friday. Look at my fingers. Look.
We simply said, listen, every event that you are in and somebody from St. Michael's is in that event, you have to finish before them. Fortune favored us that when we were in events that they were in, they were finishing down the path. But the girls obviously came the Friday morning to do business because we had the boys sewn up from about Thursday evening. The girls came and delivered in a tremendous way. So I'm saying that there might have been people in there who might have doubted that they could have done it. But when you let your athletes see you believe in them, they will do wonders. They will walk up walls for you. So that's how we do it. And years ago, somebody asked me what's the big secret. If we got Oberman, there's no Oberman. It's just hard work. It's simple.
Listen, guys, I got Charlie Piley here. Charlie got a question, and I think you're probably going to direct it at Jarad. Charlie, shoot your question to Jarad there.
Yeah, I heard the very important point about the mental preparation because a lot of athletes and a lot of laymen don't realize the importance of the mental preparation. Is just as important as the physical preparation. So you answered that part of it, but I wanted to get into the training regime without divulging too many secrets of the school. But I remember speaking to Jarad at the celebrations at the school, and he was saying, "Oh, we can probably give the athletes a day or two rest, and then we start back training for BSSAC 2025." So it's obviously a very professional structure. So I wanted to know the scope of your support team. You already are addressing the mental side. What about the physiotherapy side? What sort of techniques do you all use to keep your athletes healthy, these young athletes healthy, running on various surfaces? We kind of hurting for proper track space right now. The shin splints problem with the vibration on turf and all this kind of thing. What sort of adjustments you all have had to make to keep your athletes healthy and to prevent injury and maintain a rigorous training schedule year round?
Yeah. So BSSAC is only a part of our track and field season. So it doesn't end at BSSAC, and I think that a lot of athletes, through the scope of the island, need to understand that preparation for BSSAC does not start in January. It does not start necessarily in September. And the group that we have been preparing themselves all year round, right? And there's a strict scientific process to it. We don't just gamble. As most of you may know, I'm also a coach at the Talents Track and Field Club. Very coach majority of the Combermere students. I also run a school program before the track program, before the club program as well. For all the little first farmers, that are now coming in, so that they can have the basics learned from a very early age, and not have them, being lost in the club system. So there's a very structured scientific process that goes around it. We have to make very much big adjustments as we don't have a ideal surface to train on. So the management of athletes is very important. We can't just have them every day just running all over the place. We have to make sure that we keep an eye on them. There are signs that will tell us whether athlete is adapting to a specific training method or not. And when we don't get the adaptation that we want, we have to look for means to alter that training, right? So there's a very specific skill set that goes into that. And again, you have to spend a lot of time knowing your athletes as well. I think that's one of the biggest skills that I have. I pay attention to the athletes. I know them very well. Even when they mention certain things to them, they're like, "But sir, how you know that?" Like it's a process that you have to be involved in deeply in order to get the best from your athletes, and that is one you really can't fake, right? And I have spent the years that I've been there learning them. It is not just about me and what I want; it's about them too. So they give me a lot of feedback. I teach them how to give me feedback as well. I teach them to be students of the sport. So when you see them on field, I can walk away and comfortably leave a lot of the seniors without even having to coach them at the point, right? Because they understand what they want and they deliver everything that I want. So all of that takes time. It takes years, and you have to be patient. It is not just about the training structure, but it's about the nitty-gritty of everything that you go through with the athletes, right? So, deep scientific process, it is not really a secret. It is just that you have to be a coach, typically.
Yes.
And
in that vein too, you also need good mentorship and people behind the scenes helping you. And so in that aspect, you have people like Harcourt Wilson. Harcourt is here now, and we can bring on Harcourt. Welcome, Harcourt. Harcourt was an integral part of this double too. Good night, Harcourt. Welcome.
Thanks. First of all, let me say thanks to Mike and Jarad for having me to share some knowledge and some experience with them and by extension the team. Everything that they're saying is so true, and I think the thing about Combermere is that we were able to that school spirit always comes through, and being a proud person, and now I am saying that I was having a conversation with a coach at another school. I wouldn't say the school and situation, but having a conversation to school who's improving. And my thing is, that you have to be able to get buy-in from everyone in the school, from the principal, the staff, the students, and the person saying to me, we are trained, but it's difficult because school pride is very important, and
Excuse
that's
me,
where you
Harcourt.
start.
Excuse me. Harcourt, we're having a little trouble with your audio. It's in and out. I don't know if you want to adjust your mic a little bit.
How is this? Any better here?
I'm
Yeah,
hearing you okay.
It's better for that bar, yeah.
That's better. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that school pride, and um, from back in my day, once we came into school, we always stress school pride, and Mike and by extension Jarad, they've carried it on, and to see what how it has gone. You see, I was doing radio for BSAC, and watching from that side, you're able to pick up a lot of things. So, and sometimes I pick up, I'm able to share with Mike and Gerard, you know, that they might not have picked up. One of the things like that, when I saw on Tuesday, I think it was the 100 meter on Monday, 100 meter hurdles are the 17 girls, and where we had one of the Apple White twins, who, I mean, you can see that her confidence in running these hurdles was extremely low. Where she, instead of doing the 3 steps in between the hurdles, she was actually doing 5. So her time was like, nothing to really boast about, nothing to write home about. And I said to myself, I don't think I mentioned it to Gerard, but I said to myself, she just needs that confidence. I actually said it on ear. She needs that confidence, and because she hadn't run a race for the entire year. What When I saw her run in the final, it was a totally different person. She improved her time by about, correct me if I'm wrong, Gerard, by about 3 or 4 seconds.
yeah, it was a massive difference. Yeah.
massive. So so it is about you know getting into her head and getting her to understand. But look, you can do this. You've done it in practice, so you can get on the track and you can do it. So I so said so then, and she was able to do it and do it extremely well. And I think Thursday morning, the first two track events, 100-meter hurdles girls on the 20, on the 17, and 100-meter hurdles girls on the 20. 10 points in each event, 20 points to our total for Combermere. And I think that was the catalyst for what was to come in the next 2 days. And Friday, it was 8 points on the 17 girls hurdles, 10 points on the 20 girls hurdles. Again, there was no turning back. There was no looking back from there. So I really want to commend the two gentlemen for the job that they have done and they're doing, I should say, in getting these athletes prepared. And the physical preparation is very important, but I'm happy to see that mental toughness will really came through.
Thank you, Harcourt. That's brilliant. And you touched on such an important point when you first started. That was buy-in, total buy-in from top to bottom. Board of management, principal and staff, ancillary staff, entire student body, total buy-in. And that's what is needed. That's what was done. And more credit to the head of department and to Jarad. More credit to you guys for making sure that the school was behind you. Because I know, Michael, you would have charged everybody up at assembly. You would have made sure that people knew what was happening, about to happen. You gave us the confidence. The confidence was exuded. The confidence came. People could feel the energy from far and wide, the four corners of the earth. People could feel that energy coming through to your athletes, and they delivered. Congratulations. I would just make a couple of more comments because we got some stuff screwed up. But the highlight for me, and this is very personal, was listening to. I don't think I was able to watch it, but listening to the 4x400 girls victory, because the commentators gave Combermere the best chance of getting 4th place or 5th place. Those girls blew them away. And it reminded, and when Jarad spoke on Monday, he seemed to have focused directly on that race. And I can't quote you directly, Jarad, but you made a comment to the effect that while the others were fading, we were ascending. So in other words, you're trading time to peak those girls exactly as they did at that relay time. And I want to commend you on that. And that's my personal victory, that 4x4. And then, of course, Michael, I want to ask you, how would you have dealt with the disappointment of the boys 4x4? Jarad, you could comment on my first comment, and I want to ask Michael to make a comment, because I find that would have been a tough one, Mike, and I know you would have handled it. So, Jarad, to you then, Michael, and then we can ask Charlie to cue up the videos. Go ahead, Jarad.
You're asking about the 4x4 for the guys?
4x4 girls.
The
girls. Your comment on that, because I think you spoke directly to that. Because as I said, the commentators on radio give Combermere the best chance of coming forth.
Yeah. It was no secret. We have a set of girls there that that are of quality. A lot of them did not get the opportunity to run individual events, so they were hungry. They were very hungry for something, to show that they have the ability to be one of the best as well. So we had at least 2 of them that were well rested and just waiting for the opportunity for the 4x4 to just blow away the crowd. And I think you would have seen that, especially from the first leg, where we had Khaleesi on the first leg, and she just dominated the first leg as well. So, I knew within myself that there was no chance of the other schools winning because of what we had in the bag, just waiting to unravel, right? So, the girls
Jarad,
just delivered.
Sorry, Jarad, you should have called me and tell me, because my stomach was a knot and I didn't recover from it. You should have called and tell me to relax, because I was there saying that this is the time we can make or break, and you knew it all along. You should have really called and tell me that, though.
I have a question to ask you guys.
Go ahead,
With,
Go
with
ahead.
social media being what it is, and you know all the children are on social media, there was a lot of noise going on about Combermere and all from all these other schools. Do you have to tell the athletes to block out that noise, or just take that and use it as fuel to push them even further? How do you
I,
deal with
I'll
that sort of
I'll
stuff?
be honest with you. We make sure that before every day starts and after every day we have team talks, right? And we make them
Mhm.
aware of what is happening, what is going on. Is one thing to know. If you know what is happening, you can make adjustments. And we always tell the athletes control the controllables, and the things you can't control, you just adjust your attitude
Excellent.
and just deal with it, right? And I think that that is something that they did fantastically because on the Friday, where we had and they would have spoken about this that on Monday at assembly as well. Um, we had the team talk that morning. It was very short. We just told the girls and the boys, let's close this out. Right? This is us, this is for us, and nothing can stop us for us. And then everything from there, the energy was just good. And then when we went to the track from the first event, we had some athletes who were seated at the bottom lane. They were probably last to get in. And that morning they were above and beyond what we had accounted for. So there were
Okay.
points that we had not even accounted for that we got that morning. And from the time it was lunch, we knew that, this is pretty much it. Once everything else goes as according to the plan. We also had a surprise package too with the high jump too that nobody knew about. So we kept that under wraps.
Mhm.
Mr. Wilson would have known about it. Mr. Small would have known about it as well, but the others didn't have a clue. Right, because Mr.
Okay.
Wilson would have seen it for himself on the practice days that he came and assisted us as well. So
Yes.
things like that. We stayed confident as a team because we knew what we had left. Everybody knew what they had left. So we didn't listen to all the extra stuff that the commentators were saying. We knew that we were a target, and we just dealt with it. It was pretty much as simple as that.
Very good. Michael, the slam dunk boys 4x4, that was a real heartbreak to everyone. How did you manage that first? Because those boys' hearts must have been broken. How you manage with that, Mike?
Well, with that race, that was just supposed to be icing on the cake,
Icing on the cake. Yeah.
and the misfortune. We said, well, it gone, leave it alone, and move on. I want to add something here, that in world athletics, United States probably dropped the baton more than anybody else. So
You're
if the
right.
United States
True.
professional athletes drop batons,
Yeah.
comrade children, if they drop a baton, we can't kill them, And when they came in, we said, just, gone. We've won the titles. We came here to win 2 titles, and we delivered. So you can't harp on that after you're on a high. Then to go to that and to make a point of it would have been ludicrous. So we just swatted it aside like when a mosquito buzzes around you, it's flip it like that. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Pardon?
Excellent. That's excellent. My heart was broken, but I said, we got it in the bag. I tried. I was just thinking about the boys, and how bitterly disappointed they would have been. But I'm glad to hear that you pulled them through that.
If I may
You know,
say something,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Harcourt.
if I may say something about those two relays, one of the things with having being only limited to one athlete per event, and a lot of these guys, the only thing that they did was to relay. So the adrenaline was they were so adrenaline flowing.
Yes.
I just think that these guys you got caught up in the moment. You get so excited, they're on the track and so you mean it is something you bleed for them, you hurt for them knowing what has happened because they would have been so disappointed. But you know, I would say part of that would have of not being able to go and compete individually, would have really later that excitement, that overflow of adrenaline that would have created those kind of situations.
And part of
And
coaching.
Michael,
Sorry, Charlie. Part of coaching is to teach athletes how to deal with disappointment. I would imagine, Harcourt. Huh?
Yeah, but big part, a big part. You got to deal with it every day, and I mean these guys are in it now on a full time basis. In my time when you have so many disappointments. But one of the things is that so you got to be able to get those athletes to get that disappointment behind and just come forward, look forward, look on the bright side, look and see
Mhm.
how we can improve, what we can do to get better. One of the things is one of the biggest things is if you made a mistake, you gotta learn from that mistake.
Yes,
Defeat,
definitely so.
you're able to having been defeated, having fallen down, you can look at what made you fall, what why did you lose, and you have to be able to deal with that now to go forward and not to repeat the same mistakes.
Right, Charlie.
Yeah,
You
Michael.
got a comment? Go right ahead.
Yeah, well, Michael, that's the core of true champions. When there is um, a mistake or it didn't go to plan, um, the mental preparation to just
Yeah.
put that aside and move on. But as Harcourt said, you learn from your mistakes. Would you like to detail the actual mistake that took place in the boys 4x4?
If I told I can remember the actual mistake, I'd be telling you a senior moment and a couple celebratory drinks after. I can't remember the actual. I can't remember the actual thing. As Harcourt said, I think the guys were so hyped up. They wanted to close out the championship in style. The girls
Okay.
had set the barometer, and I know the guys wanted to do that. And I just think that excitement got the better of the guys. There was a fumble. Unfortunately, we couldn't recover from that. But I think that is what thing. I don't know if Jarad could critique it better tonight, but I know for a fact, for me to sit down here and go through it, dissect it for you, I can hold up my hand. I can't do that.
Right. So just so that we could clear the air on that. So this is the perspective from the athlete side. Yazid Daniel was running into Tion to give him the baton. Tion would have indicated to me that the official was asking him a question, and it kind of led to a point where he was kind of distracted and he was not sure what was going on. By the time he really got himself and recognized that Yazid was there, he had ran into him, right? Because
Okay.
again, Yazid was probably not expecting him to not be aware that he was coming. So he ran into him and the baton fell. But the actual disqualification actually came because the baton was not successfully passed. Now, if Yazid had taken up the baton and gave it to Tion, that would have been cool sailing. But because it was not successfully passed and it actually dropped, it didn't actually fumble, it dropped without Tion receiving the baton. Tion took up the baton instead of Yazid taking it up. So the disqualification came where the baton had not been successfully passed to the outgoing runner, and that's where the disqualification would have came.
Okay, thanks for that technicality, that clarity on the technical aspects of that. Now, Charlie, I'm gonna let you, Charlie I'm gonna let you put those videos up, and we can comment on them afterwards. Go right ahead with the videos, please.
This is gonna be a Kaka Jacka of a finish. Here we go. Clark trying to make his move. It is gonna be between these three. Duncan is leading Hines. Here comes Matthew Clark of College. Hines makes his move now. Who has the strength? Who has the determination? But it is all Combermere with Brandon Hines running a cracker. Duncan is trying to fight back. The Hines looks very strong. It is all Brandon Hines of Combermere. Look at Duncan still fighting. Clark digging deep, but they're not going to beat Hines. They are not going to beat Hines. It is all over. Combermere with Brandon Hines. Daniel Duncan of Foundation running a good one.
Wow. A comment, Gerard.
Yeah. Going into that, Brandon was obviously the favorite to win it. He was the 800-meter favorite, so he was the favorite for us. But there was a contest obviously between him and his training mate from Foundation, whether it would have been Duncan or him. But we know Brandon. We know Brandon goes out to win. So we knew that the chances were more towards Brandon there, and I think that Brandon delivered big time. So we got to give him the props for that.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Have you got any more videos queued up? Well, it looks as though you all trained for the celebration too. So it was very, very coordinated. It was sort of like a chaotic coordination. This is perfect, a perfect description. Hess, jump in
Yes,
here,
sir.
Mark.
Yes.
I kind of
My question is, how important is the fan support that you've received from the stands that give you a little bit more juice? How does that help you guys when you're competing, right? And you hear that Combermere crowd getting on so raucous and loud and up and on and trying to push you on. Does that even make you even want to perform even better? Tell me about that.
All right. From the time we went to Usain Bolt, obviously for the track events are more glamorous. From day one, the chants, they motivated the athletes. The children had something called a pet rally where they said the chants, so the children knew the chants. But I also want to add that this team had support not only from the stands. The PTA came through big time. The Limers came through. Julius, Bacon. Then, I mean, this team got support that I've never seen another team receive before. And I think that all of that there just galvanized the children into action. And as a result, we are now double crown champions. I've been to a lot of BSSACs in my time, and the support for this team is unprecedented. Unprecedented. It's a different time, a different era, because I remember the chairman making reference to the chants back then to know there's social media age now, and the children found different ways to hype up their teams and stuff like that. But as I said, this team had support from the entire Combermere community.
As a matter of fact, my favorite chant was the one that went Combermere, Combermere, Combermere. You want talking about?
Yes.
that was the best jingle I thought for the whole campaign. I really like that.
And the children are very creative. So I heard her saying that we will have a big target. I thought as Combermereans, we always had a target on our back. So it just means that it's a little bigger. And our school song prepares us for that. Foes in plenty we shall meet. Hearts courageous scorn defeat. So we relish the chance to defend the title next year. We are quite aware that people will come gunning for us. This is not my first rodeo. My first in the school sports as a member of the department would have been after hardcore. I'd done the double, and in '98 we stumbled a little bit, but I'm accustomed to this here. So bring it on. Bring it on.
Well said. Well said. Michael, to you first, and then to Jarad. I know there must have been several moments. There's a pic now of the Combermere double, and the one I love best is Mrs. Pyle there, being celebrated. That's something etched in my memory. Michael, you must have had many moments during the BSAC finals that you would rate. If you had to rate like first, second, and third of the most glorious moments for you, and then Jarad.
This present BSAC?
This one.
First, second, and third. let me just say that BSAC 2024 has a lot of special memories for me. I can leave it like that because there were so many great moments, right? For me, though, I think the defining moment, Harcourt mentioned the performances the Friday morning. I think the girls came to the Usain Bolt the Friday morning and saying, "Listen, the boys got this sewn up. We want to be a part of this," and the girls went there and they performed exceptionally well.
Very
So
well.
the performance of the girls on the Friday morning, and as I said, the whole BSAC 2024, those are my special moments.
Gerard, you wanna put a final point on it?
I completely agree with Mr. Small. There were so many moments for me that I had to just soak in. The relays for me gave me goosebumps, especially on the Thursday with the 4x1s, where you had the under 17 girls and the under 20 boys, under 20 girls. It was just a done deal before it even got started. That was a really good moment. The 4x4s for sure. There's something about the team aspect when you go there for the relays that really gives you a big drive. Um,
Yes.
and that for me is the defining moment. We had on the 13, on the 15 team there of juniors that gave a real mature performance too. So stuff like that really gives you an idea of what the future holds for the school, and those moments were the defining moments for me because the seniors will move on eventually. But we have to look after the young ones to make sure that they're really capturing what it means to be a champion.
Lovely.
This
Hess, I wanna
that
ask.
question was
Go
asked.
ahead.
Well,
Go
that
ahead,
question was
Gerard.
asked to me, but I want to jump in on this one, right?
Yes,
So
please.
I mentioned earlier the Thursday morning and the Friday morning, but I want to single out a couple of people, young athletes. The young lady in Division 4, Kaylee, Kaylee, I think is the name, Mike Jarad,
Kalia,
Kaylee, what? Kalia,
Kalia, Waterman, yeah,
Kalia in Division 4.
yeah,
So
yeah.
she qualified not in the top position, but she showed a lot of spirit, and I think that is one that will be in 4 or 5 years time we will be talking a lot about her because she really showed that spirit. And the under 13 boys who were,
Mm.
I mean, they really came to the party. So we were able to get points in under 13, 100, 200, 400, and 800, along with the high jump and long jump. So every event, and the Pokemon relay, every event that the under 13 boys, we had under 13 boys, every event they were able to get points. So that is those were defining moments to me because for me, I'm always big on what we have in the lower divisions. Looking
Yeah.
forward just to build a program. That's the foundation for a good program. So I'm happy that we have those little ones in division 4 and for the girls and also in the boys. So I look forward to even better things as we go forward and building on that. And I will also add, sorry, I
No,
just thought of
Kako, this is you. This is you. Go ahead.
and this is the sort of thing that gives even more impetus to those athletes in the school, those who are standing by and looking not so sure, that gives them encouragement, give them motivation to want to be a part of it. So I'm sure, and I'm sure that between Mike and Gerard in the next school year, we'll find those ones in the school that can give us points in other areas that maybe people are not expecting us to get points, that we will be getting points from them.
Lovely. Hess, I'm going to ask our technical Charlie to queue up some and put up some more stills and
Pictures.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we guys can continue our commentary during that displays. I also want Mike and Gerard to let us know, starting with you, Mike, if you had to like a knee-jerk response to what you think you would need going forward in terms of
Yeah.
assistance, and what we can probably put in place and reach out to the old scholars. What would you want to see? God, I open the can of worms, Mike. I don't care. Let's
No,
go.
There,
you haven't opened the
there's not
can of
enough,
worms.
there's not enough time left for that.
Oh my goodness.
But,
Perhaps
but,
I can
but
ask Michael and Gerard to prioritize it.
well, as Jarad said, this was something that started 6 years ago, where we made a deliberate attempt to work on the field events. I remember one year, Harrison College beat Combermere by 14 points in the boys' race. Blackie was still alive. And that bothered me. I took home all the results. And I went through the results with a fine tooth. I found the 14 points. Boys Division 2 discus. College came second and third. 8 and 6. 14.
14.
Combermere had nobody. Combermere had nobody. Jarad has turned things around where we place a lot of emphasis on the field event. So immediately, we got some field event implements this year, but immediately I would like some more because and I must give BSSAC credit for having the field event championship because everybody likes the 100 meters, the sprints, the relays, and stuff.
Things. Yeah.
But the field event, people feel kind of left out. So when you give them their separate thing now, where they can excel and dominate and feel good, I am happy to see that. So immediately, the old scholars can give us a few more javelins and shot puts and discus and stuff like that, and we'll take care of it from there.
Lovely. We got the girls 4x4 relay queued up and ready to go. Hit it, Charlie.
We want to focus on the atmosphere of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, Combermere School, unofficially the winners here of the 4x400.
Man, I tell you something. I still get goosebumps for that. I'm sorry they have the followers, but let me tell you, Michael, you cannot imagine my behavior when I was here that race.
I think I let Jarad take that.
Jarad, take that one.
Yeah. To be honest, these girls have been wanting for something like this. All throughout the day, I would, ask them how they're feeling because for me, particularly with relays, I tend to have a relay pool, and I tend not to choose the relay teams too early. I tend to let the day play out because you want to see who's in the best space mentally too, right? So you check in with them all day to make sure that they're ready and willing. So relays are not really chosen until about probably an hour before the event or hour and a half before the event. We declare who will run the relays, and that is from making the checks of who that particular day is ready because we have a pool of girls that majority of them can. We can run 2 4x4s or probably run 1 2. No joke, right? But the idea is we want to make sure that we are picking or choosing the best people possible for those particular relays at that given time.
Great, but Michael, that also presents another challenge, and I know we ran out of time, but you have a relay pool. Jarad said you could run a 1 2 with the relay pool you got. So how do you motivate the girls that have been left out to be so supportive of the team that has been chosen?
But you see the team really does understand the mission, and they give away to who is ready at that point. So there's no real disappointment, at least not shown visibly, even if it is something that they feel deep down. But they understand, that's the best person, and as I think that they trust me as a coach. So when they make a decision, I always show them that when decisions are made, we most often not come up with the result we want. So they trust the process. So when they choose a team, they know, that gotta be best team for today. So we never can question that, right? So they don't get disappointed. They understand. Look, let me just support the girls that are going out, and my turn will come, my chance will come eventually. That's the way it works.
This has to be perhaps one of the greatest feathers in your cap because there's no pussyfooting around this. You gentlemen have to take a bow because those types of challenges are the ones that people tend to overlook. But to be able to say that as a coach, people respect your decision and they then turn and support the team that has been chosen is a feather in your cap. Michael Small's cap and Jarad is also in your cap. I know time is getting away from us. Hess, We gotta wrap this up really soon. But you got something else you want to throw into the mix?
Yes, sir, most definitely. The hurrahs and the cheers are great, but they must be followed with tangible help and proper assistance, right? Because sometimes there are students where we have a little charity group, Harry's Dreamers, and we've helped one of the athletes there. And there's a lot of athletes that are, for example, this young man didn't have the proper footwear, right? And he didn't have the proper nutrition, and we were able to help him. But there's a lot of other athletes like that might be falling through the cracks. So we, as old scholars, whatever the student body or whatever, we need to tangibly help some of these students that might be lacking, the proper footwear, gear, and nutrition, and so on. So yes, we can say up and on, but we have to make sure that we ourselves make a difference. So Harcourt and Jarad and Mike, we can talk offline, and we can try to identify some of those students that might be falling through the cracks, and we can try to see if we can help them. Right?
Yeah.
So
Great.
that's equally to all Combermerians out there.
Absolutely.
That's big. That's very big, and I agree with that. We have a lot of athletes who, struggle, especially at home. Some of them don't get something to eat. Sometimes we have to buy stuff for them if they don't got lunch that particular day, or they will get school meals. So they understand that there's a lot of sacrifice that, we as the department, because they, as you say, they come to us. We are the guys, even though we are very strict in certain areas, as Mr. Small always says, once we are firm and fair, students will respect us, and that's the truth. They come to us when they have their challenges, and this is something that they really, really struggle with. That support from home. The school is probably the only place they're going to get that support. Not having lunch, not having something to eat when they go home, not having breakfast, and then you're still asking them to train daily. It's a task. It's a big, big task. So you see athletes celebrating the way they do. It is not just through a victory of, running a race and coming first or second or whatever. It is a overcoming of adversity to get to the point that they're
Very well said. Very well said.
So we really do need to help. We really do need to help the athletes. We need to step forward with whatever resources we have and make it big for them, because they're putting out. They're really putting out.
Most
Michael,
definitely.
I suppose you got echo them sentiments, Michael, because I've heard them from you before.
Pardon me?
I know you're going to echo those sentiments because I've heard them from you before.
Well, at this point, I want to once again praise Mr. Murray for his efforts, his sterling efforts. I'm also glad that my big brother always has my back. And I want to mention two people who are no longer here that I know would be looking down and smiling proudly. That's Blackie and Mike Gaskin.
Yes.
I know that Mike Gaskin touched base with Jarad a time, and Jarad was giving me a story on Friday. And as Harcourt said, we could talk about this for the whole night, and we will be forever talking. But as I said earlier, I really want to praise the efforts of Jarad, his meticulous preparation, his willingness to listen, his going with his gut feeling, and as I said, having Harcourt in the background to be just there, just to offer a word of advice or something like that. It feels good. Actually, on Friday evening, there were some members of the 97 team who were there, and that was like, whoa. I mean, they were there to see this team do the double 27 years later. So
wow.
I really, this BSAC will have a lot of memories for me. Well, I don't know if next year if we do the double again, what will happen, but I'm really happy that I had this experience and looking forward to creating some more magic at Combermere.
Great. Well, we have got to wrap up. We've got a hard break right now. I want to thank Jarad and Michael.
Before you do, sorry, David.
Go ahead.
If I can just quickly, I just want to say it because I want to sit in this forum because I want to first of all congratulate Mike for the job that he's been doing at leading the team. But I really want to say it to Jarad. I've told him this before, but I have no problem saying it again. I will continue to say it. I'm extremely proud of this young man and what he has achieved in the 6 years he has been at Combermere. Mind you, in these 6 years, 3 were lost to COVID. So having been being able to achieve the double in let's say in 6 years minus the COVID years, and that is something that is I don't think a lot of people understand that achievement. And I say to him early in the week, stay grounded, stay humble, you know, listen to advice, talk to people if you have to talk to people. But, remember, most of all, remain you, remain true to the sport, remain true to your athletes, and the sky's the limit. Congrats on that achievement to both of you gentlemen, especially Jarad. I'm very, very proud of you.
Up
Thank you
and
very
on,
much.
hardcore,
Thank
up
you
and
very
on,
much.
everyone.
Hold
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Heartiest,
Yes.
heartiest congratulations from the bottom of our collective hearts. Michael
Yes.
Jarad, thank you for being here tonight. We got to go. And I know we're going to be seeing a lot more of each other in the coming days and weeks. Up and on, guys.
Up and
Up and
on.
on.
Hold on.
Come on.